Yo, boys. Today we got the roadmap and I wanted to go over it. We're going to start off with what they have planned for the next season. So starting out, they have season world PvP. Now, what does this exactly mean? Well, this means that they're going to be making kind of a seasonal world for New World. So every season it's going to wipe and they're going to have this as PvP all the time. You're going to be able to craft a bunch of new gear in there. Gear will also drop on death. And the gear is supposed to be extremely strong, stronger than artifacts on the server. So if you're looking more for PvP that will be wiping, then I recommend playing on these seasonal worlds. But on to our next one, and probably the biggest change that will make a lot of people happy is they're adding a new OPR map. Now, it's not going to be coming out in Season 7. They just said they will be showcasing it on a weekend or two, allowing the players to experience it and giving feedback. And then they're going to be going back into refining it over the course of the season. I don't know if they plan on releasing it at the later part of Season 7 or if it's just planned for Season 8. I don't know yet, but I do know it will not be coming at the start of Season 7 as they just plan on testing it for the new players. Next up, we have mutated expeditions. All mutations will now share the same mutation, so you're not going to have a fire, a void, and a nature mutation in the same week. Now, during the same week, everything will be fire. This allowing you not to switch out your gems as often, which is absolutely huge, since this allows you to save a lot of gold, and it's not as annoying to play different dungeons. And what this is allowing it to do is now you can queue a lot easier into M3s, simply because now you don't have to worry if I queue into the wrong M3, I have to switch all my gems around, because now you'll be able to just have the same gems, go into any M3 and be fine. They also plan on increasing the rewards. This is better gear. They plan on having exclusive crafting materials now only found in these mutations, such as this is not only for mutation, this will be Gorgon as well, and other things, giving you more incentive of doing these, since lately, since the new release of the Worm Raid and the Gorgon and the PvP Island, mutations have not been getting played as often because the rewards are just not worth it anymore. But they plan on increasing these through crafting mods and gear changes and all that. So that should be pretty exciting. If you are a dungeon enjoyer, this should give you more incentive to do those and not just feel like you're just doing it for fun. They're also adding 3 new soul trials. They didn't say they were changing the soul trials, which I think is very sad, simply because I think the soul trials do need difficulty increase, reward increase, because right now, to me, they're not even worth doing. Most people that I talk to don't even do soul trials, so I don't really understand why they're not increasing the rewards or anything like that in there. They should make something exclusive in soul trials as well, giving you more incentive in doing those. Plus, I think they can be fun if they make them more challenging and more reward incentive. But at the moment, they have no plans for that, or at least they didn't say so. Now, they are planning to change up the combat. The combat, they're trying to change the time for kill. They think it is too long, and they want to start balancing consumables, so regens and health potions. They plan on changing these. And perks, so I assume it's stuff like Enchanted Ward and Conditioning perks. They plan on fixing these a bit so you are easier to kill. And you can't live as long. Now, I don't know how this is going to feel in the current meta, since you can definitely get some really high damage numbers. My main issue is that I think range will be extremely good if they do this, since it's a lot easier to play range and be squishy than play a double melee class and be squishy, because you have to catch the range player, and the faster the range player can kill you will generally mean that it's better for the range player, because the melee player thrives when it gets on top of you, but the range player can kill you before he can get on top of you. That's going to make melee feel very annoying to play, and I feel like we're going to be in a heavy range meta again, which will be terrible for the overall game health, but we'll wait and see. Now, they are adding new artifacts and perks. 8 artifacts in total, 7 weapons, and 1 earring. They did say they're adding, one of them will be an Ice Gauntlet. They did slip up on one, and they said it's going to be Ice Tomb. That gives you huge regen when you go into Ice Tomb. So that should be very interesting. If you are an Ice Gauntlet enjoyer and you like using Ice Tomb, maybe you'll be looking to check that out. But I assume that this will be for a bunch of new weapons. Hopefully, the weapons will actually have meaning, because adding 7 new artifacts seems like a lot of work, and I hope they're not repetitive here, and I hope they actually are adding more incentives these new weapons, and they're not just like stat checks or anything like that. Except they want to add different game modes, such as capture the flag. They said they want to check out adding a battle royale, which I think would be very interesting, where you spawn in on like let's say Cutlass Keys Island down there, and you just go to town. You have to find loot through boxes and stuff. That does sound interesting, and that could be fun for many people. I have no idea. But I think New World's combat is one of its strongest points, and them adding something like that could be very fun and interesting as a fun game mode just to hop in with your friends and whatnot. Feature changes, game mode. So they plan on changing game modes each season, or maybe each week, I'm not too sure, where they plan on like having like a unique variant of the game mode for like the season or each week, where they allow you to, like, let's say this mode, OPR can't use mounts, or 3v3s are now 4v4s, so something like that. They plan on changing it up a bit, just adding some more spice into the mix and giving that like kind of that fresh feeling, so it's not as stale as playing the exact same game mode over and over. Personally, I welcome this change because I think more variety is always healthy for the game, since it will add kind of a fresher feeling and not feel so repetitive to play the same thing over and over. But we will have to wait and see. Next up, we have what's in development and what they plan on making for the future of the game. So they are wary of splitting the players player base by adding so many different queues, so they are wary of that. I don't know how that's going to affect their decisions, but they did mention it. Storage, they'll try to make storage universal. This basically means where you'll still have like your separate storage system, but you don't need to like go into, let's say you're in Windsward and you have something in Reekwater to craft a sword in Windsward. You don't have to go into your storage in Reekwater to pull that out to craft it in Windsward. You'll now just be able to craft it in Windsward. So that's what they plan on doing by making storage universal. They just mean if you're in a city, you can pull from all the other cities that your stuff is in, and you can still make stuff there without having to go to individual areas to grab it out and bring it to that certain city. Now, something I think is very interesting is pickup wars. This sounds extremely cool and weird at the same time, because wars are probably the single most exclusive content in the entire game, where only a very, very few select members of the player base gets to even participate in wars, since they are so selective. And what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of the wars that are fought by the same like 1 to 200 players. They will warlog, so that means if they're an East player, they'll warlog onto West, play the West wars. So some even warlog onto EU and EU wars. So warlogging is a huge problem. So what they ended up deciding to do with this is they decided to make wars kind of a queue thing. Now, you're not going to be fighting over a town or anything like that, but it's going to be kind of like OPR, where you get 50 people versus 50 people. They will all like sign up or whatever on like this, on like a queue or a sheet, and then you will go into the war and have a 50v50, and this will be GVG. I don't know if they plan on having some rewards for this or whatnot, like a guild ranking, or just like some maybe guild progression could come from this. I think that'd be really cool. Adding maybe some guild rewards just by fighting other guilds. This will also make wars a lot more fun and balanced, simply because you won't have the top guild smashing everyone. You can now have people who just want to war and have fun, and then they can fight against guilds in their same level, which I think will be a huge improvement for the overall game. And plus, it makes good practice, since you can't really practice wars outside of a real war, and also beside VOD reviewing, but I think most people are not that sweaty, not going to sit there and watch their VOD. So something they want to improve in is by making old content, old endgame content, great again. Now, they said they're going to plan on doing this through basically making it more replayable and making more incentives. So it's not like you just go over there, you do it one time and you're just done with it. They try to want to make more incentives, and the way they have planned at the moment is by adding item crafting and having unique things in each like area or zone to give you more incentive into going there and grabbing more stuff. I think this will be overall more healthy in the game, simply because a lot of the content, and once you're done, you just never go back. Like, no one ever really goes to Reekwater or Evans Scale or anything like that unless it's a elite chest run, right? There's no incentive to really go over there and do anything, and I think them doing this will go out and do things and make the world more lively. And, you know, you get that bigger MMO feel once you see more people running around in the area. So I think that should be healthy for the game, but that just depends on how they plan on implementing these things. They also plan on making more unique perks for abilities. So now, instead of Fireball only having one Fireball perk, They plan on adding like maybe two or three fireball perks, giving you different ways to use fireball in your build. I think this should be fun and a welcome change. I think more build variety is always good, as it adds more incentive for creativity and it doesn't make the meta so static. I think this is a huge welcome change. As long as they can do this properly, I think this will be absolutely huge. And they also want to make things more zone dependent and not like you can get everything in one zone, kind of like how golden scarabs are in Brimstone only, right? You only can get golden scarabs in Brimstone. They want to add certain things like that to the other endgame zones, like Reek, Ebon Scale, Cutlass. Well, Cutlass already has the balloons, and maybe even Merkguard. They just want to add more like zone dependent things, so you have a bigger reason to go to said zone. They also want to make rewards more meaningful everywhere in the map. So like I said earlier, just more unique stuff. And they also want to make things more interactive instead of just going there and just like looting a chest. They said they want to add like maybe you got to kill certain bosses, or they want to have quests doing it as well, so make more incentive to do quests at the later end of the game. Because right now there's no incentive to do quests once you are basically done the main story quest, unless you want to do writs. And then after you're done that, there's like no real incentive to do quests in the entire game. But they said they want to add more unique quest rewards and make quests more engaging at the end game, so you can get these unique materials, giving more replayability. So they are working on a new weapon, and they plan on making new weapons a lot faster now that they have released New World Aterenum, so that should be good. They should be adding more variety. I would love to know what you guys think the next weapon will be. They said it won't be in Season 7. This will probably be in Season 8. But what do you guys think is the next weapon in development? If I had to guess, I would probably say it's the dual pistol, since we did see that in the trailer. I'm hoping for a halberd, but I do think it will be dual pistol, or daggers would be really cool. And they also plan on adding more zones more frequently now, which is huge, and a barber shop. So if you want to finally change your raggedy old hairstyle, you can. I think this will be huge. Now, I don't know if this is going to be locked behind a payment wall or like gold or anything like that. I imagine it's going to cost money, real life money, to change your hair. But at least now there is an option in doing so. I wonder if they'll ever allow name changes or anything like that as well. They also plan on adding a reputation system. This will give you more incentive for rewards and whatnot in your zone. So that's basically what that means. Next up, they want to remake zones in the game. So just like what they did to Cutlass Keys, if you're an OG player, you know what I mean. But for the new players, Cutlass Keys used to be a level 35 zone, and they ended up making a 65 zone. And they want to do this to other zones, and they said specifically Reek Water was on the menu. Now, I imagine they will also be doing this for Morningdale, because Morningdale is pretty much dead. There is no reason to ever even go to Morningdale. I don't even know how many players even went to Morningdale that started playing the game on October 15th, because there's just no real reason to go there. But I imagine Morningdale is also on the menu of being reworked into an endgame zone. Ranked PvP, which I think is insane to me, because I didn't think they would ever add this. I don't think there is enough players in New World to actually make ranked PvP, unless they make PvP now like NA wide, so you can queue both on NA West and East players can queue together. I don't see there being enough people for just West to have a ranked PvP system. Maybe East has enough, but for West, I just don't see it. They plan on adding a new raid here. They plan on adding raid difficulty levels, similar to mutation levels, where you can up the difficulty so you get more rewards from there. I think that's a welcome change. They're just trying to make things more overall replayable and more engaging overall. They also plan on making things more like group oriented, in the sense that you can now build up, such as a community guild hall. This will be very cool, since there's never been anything like that in New World. So a community guild hall to be extremely interesting. I hope they make it kind of like an instant where you can teleport there and you just have like all the stuff that you need, and you have like a guild bank and all that, instead of just having the guild bank as only as gold. I think that would make more communities come closer together. It'd be very interesting. Procedural generated expedition with extraction. That sounds spicy as crap, dude. I don't know how that's gonna go, but that sounds definitely really interesting, and I can't wait to see how they implement that. I'm honestly personally excited for something like that, because I could add a lot of content, or it could completely flop. It's basically a coin flip. It's just up to how well they're able to do it. New World PvP modes. That's pretty sick. Territory system overhaul. That's also kind of nice. They plan on changing influence tower siege system with buildings. This is sound like more like keeps. They're gonna add more like keeps, where you have to take a keep and whatnot. That could be really cool. They plan on making the zone level ups more impactful. So now maybe you get more gold or something like that. I don't know, better chance to get certain items in the zone that you have higher reputation in. I don't know. But if they do something like that, I think it'd be pretty cool. All instant content will now be available in matchmaking. They plan, like I mentioned earlier, to make the endgame overhaul and whatnot. And they're adding a new trade skill, which is really cool. I don't know what's it going to be. I would love to hear your guesses down in the comments below. But they also said they are going to be making invasions. They plan on changing invasions quite a bit. So they plan on making that a matchmaking system now, where you can now queue into an invasion, and they plan on making it bigger, more mobs, plan on making tiers of it. So they're going to make invasions a lot better, which I think is huge because a lot of people actually like invasions and they don't really get to participate once again because it's a time thing. It's locked. You have to be in usually the guild or know someone to get into stuff like this. So even adding a queue for this will make a lot of people once again more able to get inside and enjoy these certain aspects of New World that other players never get the chance of doing. They also plan on adding a free trial for the Xbox and PS version, as a quick side note there. So the one thing that they didn't discuss was any of the huge bugs in New World, which I think is very, very sad. And I really hope that they end up addressing a lot of these bugs. If you don't know, there's the Carnelian bug. Absolutely disgusting. I won't go into exactly what it does, but it's very broken. The Rune Glass exploit with Elemental Ban, very gross once again. Hopefully they fix that. And there's just a couple other that need to be fixed. I won't go into too many of them because I don't want people abusing them, but there are quite a few bugs that need to be really fixed, like huge, like some of them are very game breaking and they just haven't fixed them yet. I don't know if they're just planning on to sweep them under the rug until they become such a big issue or whatnot, but hopefully they fix them by the next season or by the winter update, because if some of these bugs catches on, it would completely destroy a lot of New World's content. So we'll have to wait and see. And with that, I hope you guys did find this video informative. If you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe. I do stream over on Twitch and on YouTube. Make sure to come check that out. I want to thank all my YouTube channel members and Twitch subscribers for the support. Thank you very much, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.